it don't get everything is true. But what it don't.
Boss, you can't go on ignoring this rock and roll stuff anymore. Every hotel and club in the country's wiring for information.
Hello, Groove Dogs. Welcome to the Runaway Radio Rewind, a program that looks and listens back to the heyday of one of America's truly great radio stations, the legendary and late KLOL. It's the Runaway Radio Rewind. And now, here's your host, Steve Robinson.
Hey, how are you? Welcome to the show. It's the Runaway Radio Rewind. Today, we're going to hear from a guy who has a pretty unique story about his time with Rock 101 KLOL. It's engineer-producer / guru John Whiteside. Also, we dive into the grab bag of fun for another visit from Uncle Waldo. So let's do this. Here's John Whiteside.
It's kind of like who walked on the moon after Neil Armstrong, because there's always first man on the moon. That was Neil Armstrong.
Right.
Today we're going to introduce you to the person that walked on the moon the second time, and that's John Whiteside. And the moon, the lunar surface, was KLOL 101, Rock 101 KLOL. And who was it that played the final song?
That was me.
That was you.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
So, John Whiteside, you were in radio for only a couple of years.
Yeah, I was did college radio for about 2.5 years.
Where did you do that?
University of North Texas.
Okay.
So I was working at a real jazz station,
Oh.
not smooth jazz. Completely opposite format than KLOL.
Not that shopping mall jazz, but
No,
the real
no,
thing.
no Kenny G, no.
Yeah.
Miles Davis.
Oh,
We had more miles than a Texas highway.
so you're working at a college radio station. Then how did you get the KLOL job in, what, 2002 or 3?
2002, yeah. Well, I
2002.
applied for everything under the sun. I think it was about 140 different positions. And I finally settled on a 5-hour shift overnights on a Saturday at KLOL. It's the only thing I can get.
Wow.
Steve Fix hired me.
Did
Steve
he?
Fix, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Steve Fix was the program director during the last 2 years of sort of the end of the line for KLOL, in which, by the way, November 12th, 2004
Yep.
is the day that the music died, and that is that was the end of KLOL. John Whiteside played the same song that was played to sign on the radio station that started it all in August 7th of 1970, and that song was
I'm Free by The Who.
So I'm Free by The Who
Right.
started it, and John had the nostalgic good sense to say, wait a minute, if we're going to go down, we're going to put some meaning behind this.
Right.
And played the same song that we used to start it on day one back in the Rice Hotel a long time ago. So what was it like in the last couple of years?
Well, for me, being somebody who listened to KLOL growing up, I was just excited to be at one of my favorite stations.
You heard Stevens and Pruitt
I heard
for
Stevens and
years.
Pruitt for years. I mean, Wendy Miller, Outlaw Dave, and just to be in the same building with these people, to me, was a dream come true.
Yes.
And then I realized what separated KLOL from all the other stations. First of all, the people. They cared about everybody you worked with. But then also the crazy times that we had. I mean, this is my first job that I got to go in, drink beer, hang out with strippers, and then just go listen to rock and roll music all day long. It was a blast.
It was a blast.
It was a blast.
So that was, like 13 years ago or so.
Yeah.
When all
right.
this ended. And who was on the air in the last short time at KLOL?
For me, in the morning, it was Walton Johnson, and then it was Wendy Miller in the middays, Outlaw Dave afternoons, And then Uncle Nasty was doing night times, which I was his producer, local producer, running his show. He was voice tracked. He came out of Colorado, I believe. And then I think overnights was Zach United. But the last show on there was Walton and Johnson. I think they had a pre-recorded show. And then I had to play a couple songs after that, followed by the final song, which was The Who, I'm Free. And I thought going into this, there was going to be a nice little thing where everybody stood around and listened to the song play. It was me by myself in a very sterile environment. We had moved studios. We were in the new place where Clear Channel is now. Everything was new. Everything was squeaky clean, completely different, and it was just very odd to be playing the last song by myself.
By yourself.
By myself.
Now, they continued to try to keep the legend going and keep the fire burning. And in the last 2 years, it got harder and harder to do that.
Right.
The ray of light was Outlaw Dave in the afternoons. That anytime Dave is on the air, he's going to give you a great show. He's got content. He's got humor. He's got attitude. And so Dave was on in the afternoon, and he kept the Locke Siebenhausen legend alive.
That's right. Yeah, he sure did.
How did that work?
Well, it was fun. I mean, he had Locke in there all the time. They would go out to events. They would do fun parties together. I know that one time I had to work a bachelor party for Locke's wedding. He went to, I think, 10 strip clubs in one night.
And that was his real bachelor party?
That was his real bachelor party. Some sales guy put that together, and then we got a busload of listeners and got them all around to go to these strip clubs, and I was in charge of making sure they got in and out of the strip club, which is not easy to do as the drinks start flowing and the women are hanging around you and all that stuff like that. But
10 in one night.
10 in one night.
That's a world's record. Maybe.
It was something. By the time we got to even strip club number 5, I think everybody was kind of done, but we kind of kept going. But no, having Locke around and having a shift after Dave, I became good friends with Dave and Locke, and then Dave was a good mentor to me. He said, here's how you run the board. He basically said, don't ever put in autoplay. Always fire things off. Get the feeling for the board. Understand how the music works. Be in tune with your listeners. Answer the phones. Talk to them. We're not just here by ourselves. We're here for them. And it hit home for me. It made a big difference, you know.
And that advice from Dave came from, decades of how things were done at KLOL, where it was very lively and very connected with the fans that kept the love flowing both ways for so long.
Right.
And Dave was so good at that. Well, is there one story, is there anything that stands out in your mind as the feeling of what it was like knowing that this plane's about to crash?
For me, it was just an exciting thing to be a part of it, even though it was only for about 2.5 years. Just to go in there and listen to and be a part of, this iconic station that I've heard for years and years growing up. Even if I worked there for the last 2 weeks, it would have been just exactly the same feeling for me. So to meet the people, understand how real radio works, for me to have people go, this is what you do, this is how you run things, this is how you talk to people, this is how you play these music, It was quite a good feeling to be a part of that, and knowing that it was going to come to an end didn't really sadden me on the fact that I can't believe this is over. It's just another chapter in my life moving forward with radio, and to have that as the foundation for what I was going to build upon was what meant a lot to me.
Invaluable.
Right.
There he is, the man who played the last song to put KLOL to sleep for the big nap, the big dirt nap, back in November of 2004 when we said goodnight.
Right.
Thank you, John Whiteside.
You bet. Thank you.
I told you he had some stories. John Whiteside here on the Runaway Radio Rewind. Hey, it's Steve Robinson. Like us on Facebook. We do have a page. And also check out runawayradiorewind.com. Do it today, as there will be a quiz next week. All right, your Uncle Waldo starts right now.
And now this morning on the Stephen the Pruitt Show, we offered you, the listener, a chance to join the collective consciousness of Houston as we bring good weather to all with the good weather mantra. Here we go. It's not gonna rain. Oh my God! It's not gonna rain. Oh my God! It is done. Thank you, Babu. And good morning.
Fighters, lovers, wherever you are, time to sit back and enjoy the legendary S&P Not Ready for Drive Time player starring an Uncle Waldo, teenage moose hunter type person.
Oh, the great outdoors. I love this. Oh, yeah.
It's a man thing.
Yeah.
In Act 1, Scene 1, Mexican bush pilot Eddie the Motor Sanchez has airlifted Uncle Waldo and Big Bruno via a single-engine seaplane to a small but serene lake in the Alaskan wilderness. We hear the pilot say,
"All right, guys, you got all your provisions for the week's hunt."
Let me see. I got my bacon. I got my flour. I got my door flame logs.
Yes.
Got 5 cases of beer.
Yeah, I got that.
Excuse me. Wait a
Got
minute.
your rifle?
Uncle Waldo.
Huh?
Yeah, I got my rifle.
Yeah.
Can I
But,
have
do you have any ammo?
Yeah, I got 3 bullets.
Hey, Bona.
Yeah, man.
Can I borrow a bullet?
Oh, okay, here's a
Thanks,
bullet.
man. Thanks very much. All right, we're set to go.
All right,
we'll
guys.
see you in 1 week, right?
1 week from today, y'all have a good time, and be careful, but remember one thing.
What?
One thing.
What?
Lots of moose up here, but you can only shoot one moose.
Why just one moose? We got a limit on moose up here? Come on, there's thousands of moose up
I
here.
know, I'm afraid so, but there's one moose because, see the seaplane?
Yeah?
Well, it's designed for the weight of me, 2 passengers,
That's
one
us.
moose.
One moose.
One moose. It's still got enough lift to go down the lake,
Yeah.
take off, and get over those trees. See the trees in the distance?
Yeah, you got to get over those trees.
Gotta
so
get over those
Not
trees.
too much weight. One moose.
One moose,
Right,
perfect
Bona.
weight,
Right,
you get
babe.
right over the trees.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
See you in a
yeah,
week.
all
Have
right.
a good time.
Yeah, go ahead.
See you later.
Adios. Go
All
on.
right. Y'all have a good time.
Well, you need a push.
Push me off.
Come on.
All
Come on.
right.
Here we go. Here we go. Up
and the Mexican seaplane departs. Time passes. 1 week later, the single-engine Mexican pontoon seaplane lands again on the small but serene Glacier Lake. Let's listen.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Oh, hey, Bona, how you doing, man?
Ah,
Hey, good to see you.
Nice
Hey.
campfire you got
Boy,
there.
what a week we had hunting, huh?
Yeah.
Look up there hanging out of that tree. What do you see?
Bullwinkle. Hey,
Yeah, look at
wait
that.
a
Ain't
minute.
that the biggest moose you've ever seen in your
Oh,
life?
Hold it. What's hanging behind that moose?
It's another moose.
Now, what did I tell you?
Yeah,
What
he
did you
shot-
tell us?
Hello? He shot the first one, I got the second one. Thought
Yeah.
I'd get in here.
Yeah, you can't
I
have-
didn't. Hey, he went one way, I went the other. I didn't know he shot a moose. He shot one, I shot
All
one.
right, well, take a picture of them because we got to leave one behind.
No,
Oh,
Bona,
come
no.
on,
no.
We're taking them. Hey, Bona.
One moose.
Hey, baby. Hey,
Yeah,
come here.
well,
Look
Hey,
at this.
I lost 15 pounds. I haven't eaten any sea rations.
Look what I have for you.
Campfire.
Right here.
Uh-huh.
It's a $100 bill. Here.
Nice.
Come on.
I like that.
Put
Yeah.
both.
I
put,
thought it was another fire.
put both moose on the plane and let's get out of here.
I don't
Or
know.
you don't get
Come
paid.
on, you
you
can-
don't get paid unless both of us go back.
But I got the whole...
Hey, $100 bonus. Let's get out of here.
All
Come on.
right.
I'll tell you what.
Mosquitoes are
All
We'll
right.
throw in some moose fajitas.
Moose fajitas.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right,
Let's
All right,
load them
let's
up.
load 'em up. Here we go.
Right,
All
come
right,
on.
hey, strap that moose down.
Get the antler out of my nose.
Oh,
I'm sorry about
sorry.
that. Here, let's
I'll
strap
move
it
it out
down
of
here.
here.
All right, here
All
we
right,
go.
you ready? Let's take off. Here we go. Ready?
Prime the gas tank.
Yeah. Something wrong with this damn plane. Here.
But it's the weight.
You're going to clear that tree line. Don't worry about it. Oh, look out. Look out.
Start, you pieces.
Here we go.
Whoa! Bush pilot Eddie the Boner Sanchez applies full power, reaches liftoff speed, pulls back on the stick. The plane begins to lift off and almost clears the tree line.
Oh, God. Hey, Bona.
Yeah,
Where the hell are you?
I'm up in the tree.
Oh.
Hey, I can see your cabin from here.
Hey, you look good up there, Bona.
I'm
Where's-
doing okay.
Where the hell is Uncle Waldo? God, what a crash.
He's over behind that butch.
Uncle Waldo, are you okay?
A second.
Huh?
Let me put out my left arm.
Oh, I'll do that for you.
That aft gas burns a lot hotter than the regular stuff.
Yeah, well, hey, we all survived, didn't we? We all survived.
Big.
Yeah, what?
Big.
What?
Oh, my God.
What?
Where are we?
Where are we?
Where are we?
I'd say about 500 yards further than we got last year.
You've been listening to the Runaway Radio Rewind. Join us next week for more memories and goodness for the intelligentsia from the people who made the former KLOL what it was. Find us online at runawayradiorewind.com and be sure to grab your Runaway Radio gear. You can find the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Show us your dog, and we'll see you next week on the Runaway Radio Rewind.